well, if it's not another influencer trying to get away with not paying, not holding up their end of the deal, we have covered so many of these, but we have another one. We have Farrah Abraham, and we also have Hair by effing Slay. Okay, we have two people. Farrah is the influencer, and I'm just going to call her Slay. Slay is the hairstylist, hair extension expert. Farrah, you may have come across her before. She believed notoriously known for being on the real earlier seasons of Teen Mum USA. I never got into that program, so whenever I hear about like Janelle and Farrah and like all these people, I know who they are, but I didn't know their origins, if you know what I mean. Farrah has been called out left, right, and centre on the internet regardless of this drama, but this one is the latest, and supposedly she's already sent Slay a 500k invoice because her celebrity status is being exploited on the internet, and the stylist is making all this money talking about Farrah, so therefore she's going to send out a 500k invoice. It doesn't really make a hell of a lot of sense, but here we are, we're here. Slay's just out here trying to spread the word that Farrah is a con artist, allegedly. And you know where this drama took place? Fort Worth, Texas. I've never been to this place. I couldn't even point it out on a map, but the sheer volume of TikTok dramas, 85% of them seem to come from Fort Worth, Texas. If you do live there, could you please give a little shout out in the comment section? I want to know if there really is as much drama as there seems to be online in real life. So I'm going to need a little sit down after explaining all this drama. So Lord only knows how you guys are holding up in Fort Worth, Texas, which is basically the drama capital of TikTok. But before we get on to any of that, the rest of the video, this portion of the video is sponsored by The Cozy Florist. If you know me, you know that I love anything that is relaxing, visually pretty, generally calming. So I've been playing The Cozy Florist, and it is honestly such a cute little find. It's a cozy gardening and flower management game on iOS and Android, where you plant seeds, water them, harvest your flowers, fulfill orders, and keep upgrading your shop as you go. It has that really satisfying gameplay loop where there's always something to do, yet it still feels incredibly peaceful. One thing that really stands out to me is that you can grow rare dream blooms, and through special events, players can win real flowers, which I think is a really fun concept. I also love that it has this really playful social feature where you can actually sneak into friends' gardens and steal their flowers, which does sound chaotic, but it is quite funny, and it does add a lot of charm. The visuals are also lovely. Like, I adore the visuals. Everything has this soft watercolor style, and the music is also super relaxing. It's not annoying. You can listen to it for a very, very long time. So it's the kind of game that I love opening up just to relax for a little bit at the end of the day, or in the morning, or when I'm supposed to be doing something else. If you want to try it, The Cozy Florist is free on iOS and Android as well. I've put the links right at the top of my description and also in the pinned comments. Also, scan the QR code up here. All of you guys who use my exclusive link will receive a starter pack. Now, what is in this starter pack, Amy? 100 diamonds, 50 speed up cards, and 20,000 pieces of gold. So what are you waiting for? Go and download The Cozy Florist for free. Thank you so much to The Cozy Florist for sponsoring today's video. Now let us just get on with what is going on with this hair drama. So what actually happened? So like I've already said, there is this content creator called Farrah Abraham. She was Teen Mum K. Anyone who is a fan of the show will know who she is. She has had quite a lot of controversy that I've heard of floating around. I've definitely heard her name being mentioned before, and it is not necessarily in the greatest of lights. That also, when I went to click on her page, literally the second or third video that I saw was her and her daughter, who's now 16. So that's how long ago it was. She was literally desert in front of the pyramids. And they had horse, that she was on a horse, and they were like getting it to rear. This horse had like whip marks all over it. Kind of like, what is this? Horrible. And then there were camels that like the whole thing. Really icky. But that's not what this video is about, but that just put me right. There's a stylist up here in the Fort Worth, Texas area. And I'm just going to call her Slay because her handle is hair by effing Slay, so Slay. And the gist of it is that Farrah had reached out to Slay, actually sent her a DM saying, hey, you fancy doing a collab? Now, a lot of these influencers, to get out of actually paying for things, we know they love a good collab,
reached out to me to do a collab. It wasn't my idea. Reached out to me to do a collab, and obviously any millennial my age probably liked Teen Mom. Not saying every millennial did, whatever. But I was in my adolescence when I liked Teen Mom, and I honestly quit checking in after season 1 of Teen Mom OG. Of course, starstruck, stuck in my Teen Mom days as a millennial. I think anybody that doesn't keep up with things would have taken her as a client. Just for the exposure. I mean, I'm little nobody. Any exposure is good exposure, and to me, like, it's a Teen Mom, and honestly, I was going to be a part of Teen Mom history. I was really getting this in my brain as I was going to be a part of Sophia's prom. And I mean, who doesn't want to do that? If you said no to that, if you were going to say no to that, I kind of think you'd be stupid. But I mean, we all know how it ended up, and hindsight's 2020.
Which basically means like procedure free, but then the stylist will then receive a lot of publicity and a lot of tagging. Word gets out there, they'll then secure clients. If done right, it benefits both parties a lot. More so actually the person who does all of the work, because they could get serious amount of business, i.e. serious amounts of revenue from it, you know? And then whoever it is gets like a nice service for free, you know? I understand it, but the only part of when it goes wrong is when the influencers don't hold up their end of the deal. And the whole thing was that it was Farrah's daughter's proms. She was going to be going as well, needed someone to do her and her daughter's extensions. Slay specializes in extensions. And what the hairstylist says is that when she was talking to Farrah said, oh yeah, I'm gonna need 24-inch hair extensions.
She asks me after booking the collab to go and find some hair extensions, 24-inch extensions that are clip-ins, 1B, just black straight clip-ins. In the first text she does say wavy, kind of curly, but later in another text she says black straight clip-ins for Sophia. So I hunted those down. I mean, everywhere that you look, you're not gonna find 24-inch extensions. You're not gonna find 24-inch clip-in extensions in person at a professional beauty supply store. So where did I go with 3 to 4 days notice? I went to a wig shop. They sell hair. Where was I gonna go? You couldn't find them in Houston.
But these hair extensions were $169, and the deal was that Slay was paying out of pocket for them because it was last minute, and Farrah would then have to reimburse her for the extensions, but everything else was fine. So here it says, Farrah says, I'll send videos of current hair so you can plan. If you know a hair beauty for straight black hair for the child, 24-inch clip-in, I can just buy from you. I was looking at Hair Houston. Keep me posted. See you Tuesday. And a big thumbs up for sure on content. So this was agreed upon. But yeah, of course, Farrah did have an issue with the fact that the hair was not from like a hair beauty salon. It was from a wig place. Hence the reason why, revoltingly, she was then calling it like a gesso hair or whatever the hell was going on with that.
She can't muster up the photos that looked like she got the hair in a ghetto weird place.
And the stylist is keeping Farrah up to date on exactly what happened. There was no luck. I then had to go to Arlington. That's a massive hair supply store. If nothing else, I can also just grab wefts and custom sew the clips. So she is keeping her very much looped into the process. This is a very last minute booking. Especially if you're looking to try and source hair extensions of that length. Anyway, what ended up happening was that Farrah was actually like 2 hours late because supposedly she got pulled over by like a state trooper because she didn't have a front license plate on, or it was wrong, or something was going on.
I'm just sending a quick message. I got pulled over by a trooper, so that took like 30 minutes. Just wanted to ask, is your makeup person coming? Sorry, did I miss the IG or Instagram of the makeup person? Let me know either way. I think Soph might be open to it, and I will get a little glam. I just hopped in the car in my sweats, but I got my outfit for like the after look. So that'll be cute. But we look forward to seeing you. I just gotta really take my time because these troopers were like oh my god, your front license plate's on, oh my god, your tint. It's like they were having like a party by pulling me over. So I just really am annoyed by them, and I'm waiting on my custom license plates, so it's just been a pain. I totally forgot like driving this far would probably like trigger every trooper, but yeah.
So she said she was going to be getting there at noon, and then actually what ended up happening was that she was like 2 hours late. And this whole procedure is meant to take 12 whole hours. Like the whole process, 12 hours. Okay. So the stylist is like waiting around. And by the way, do I believe that she got pulled over and like whatever? I don't know about that.
And I wasn't late, and I don't need to pay you.
And this is what Farah's hair looked like when she came in, by the way. I just want to point this out. Now, like, on normal circumstances, am I dragging someone for, like, the way that their hair looks? No. To turn up 2 hours late for an appointment, whether or not it was like your fault or not. But by the sounds of it, Farah kind of knew that her license plate would be an issue. So you basically got in your car thinking and knowing that this was going to be an issue, but still went ahead with it. And number two, to come in and you have 12 hours to get this ready, and to come in with your hair looking like that. I don't know. I just feel like that's so rude. And I'm well aware that like hair extensions can get like grown out and they can get like ratty looking and all that. I understand that, but I feel like you could have definitely have tidied that up. You could have done something. It looks like she literally has not brushed her hair in like days, and she just let them they're just so outgrown that I have this feeling like she has been waiting for another person to give her like a freebie. I don't know, but I'm not a hairdresser.
And after everything was said and done, after the hair was done, I texted several times and said, hey, can you pay me back for those? I asked for it in Zelle, I got it in Venmo. I digress. It's just, how could she confirm that that was my Venmo if I never gave it to her? That's the only reason I keep bringing that up. And it was just kind of like a weird, I'm not gonna do what you tell me to do kind of thing. It just felt off. From that moment on, I felt like the vibes were just going to be off. I don't know, it wasn't my intention. I was just asking for some organization within the collab and some like, hey, can you pay me back after the appointment was said and done? I didn't know that the collab wasn't going to collab.
So Slay did eventually end up receiving payment for the hair extensions, because remember, she had to pay out of pocket, and then Farah said that she'd reimburse her. Did get that sorted, but in the process of like asking or whatever, something went wrong. Okay, and Farah then basically accused Slay of being extremely rude and trashy and all of this kind of stuff, so she no longer feels like she wants to hold up her deal with the collaboration.
She mentioned slightly once or twice that she's going to be releasing stuff for press on Monday, but originally whenever I signed up for the collab, it was original like prom press on the 11th. So yeah, I'm going to do the hair Thursday, and then I'm going to get to post all weekend and get tagged through the weekend on things that are related to prom. Monday came around and she just didn't like the way that I was texting her, didn't like the way that I was actually being a business owner and running my business. At least this is how I feel. But she didn't like it and thought that I was being sassy, thought that I had an attitude with her, thought that I was trying to take control out of her hands, when in fact, I'm just trying to run my business. It's not about you, dude. It's really not about you.
Slay was expecting Farah to, over the course of the prom, expecting her to like tag Slay and tag this and tag that. And because they were going to be doing stuff over the weekend, it was going to be like this whole weekend of tags and posting to get her publicity and to get her exposure, which would hold up her end of the deal, yeah, because she had tagged loads of stuff to do with the prom, but that never happened. And Farah turns around and she says the only person who crashed out was the trashy hairdresser, and I sent the loser money. Collabs are free and she deserves every 1 star she has for being in celebrity DMs manipulating. What a fraud clout chaser. Enjoy the attention. There will never be another day, wacko. Keep posting my pictures. You suck at hair and need negative, poor me victim attention. Can't be kind to mentally ill users. There are people saying like, you sound insane. Yeah.
Definitely didn't have a receipt. Still didn't get a receipt to actually pay her, but I still paid her. She's shaking, switching, like everything. You can triangulate a million people, but baby, bees in the trap, bees in the trap. 100 million people could tell me a lie, but I don't get abused anymore. And I wasn't late, and I don't need to pay you.
Yeah, I mean, if you go onto her TikTok, she has been like crashing out and not really making a lot of sense over this. Whenever I see adults, like grown women, literally acting like this, I just shudder. Do you know what I mean? I can't. She's saying like can't be kind to mentally ill users. She also posted this long ass Insta reel where she said, when we do a collab and I communicate I'm not late, I went out of my way and got a trooper pulling me over. What? And there was no receipt, no pay talk, because pay for damaging my hair is not tolerated. Stop abusing a celebrity, clearly. Shame on a scam artist hairstylist targeting me. What? The punctuation. What are we talking about? You were late. You were actually 2 hours late. And not to mention as well, what do you mean she ruined your hair? Did you see your hair when you walked in? Did we see that? What are you talking about? No, you ruined your hair. You ruined your hair. That girl just made it like a million times better. She didn't do nothing bad to your hair. You are living on a different planet. Anyway, so what ends up happening then is that there's a lot of like to and fro. People are now not seeing Farah's side of it whatsoever. And Farah don't know what to do. She's like, no one's listening to me. No one's believing me. So what does she do? She decides to send a cease and desist to Slay. Which, by the way, I've received cease and desist before. Most of them should just be used as toilet paper. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, they never really go anywhere. It is a form of scaring you and making you take down content. Very rarely does anything ever come of it, ever. And also, even if it did, like, defamation is just so hard to prove in a court of law anyway. It's just so much money and time and energy wasted. So Hereby Slay posts the email, and it says, attached is a formal cease and desist notice on behalf of Farah Abraham and KN Productions Media Group regarding your recent public statements and posts. Please review it immediately and respond in writing confirming removal of the disputed content and ceasing of any further public commentary or dissemination of private contact information. Please note that Farah Abraham did send payment as she had decided not to move forward with the collaboration. This is your first and final warning. Everything is explained in the attached letter. Failure to comply may result in legal and criminal action. This is what it is, though. It's like failure to comply may result in legal and criminal actions. Very clearly between the messages that Farah was going to be posting her, it was a collaboration, and that Slay would be doing her hair and that she'd receive payment for the extensions. Like, you can't just get the free service and then back out of it. You've already entered the collaboration at that point. To back out of it would have just been not to get your hair done, and then the whole thing would have been over, but you decided to get the freebie. Technically, there was nothing written, like no formal anything for a collaboration. I feel that it's a lot easier to do that if you do have management and all of this kind of stuff. Slay does not have social media management from what I'm aware. So she's probably new to this. She probably just didn't realise that, yes, that is a way of like protecting both parties when they come together. She wasn't expecting to get swindled. However, if Farah is obviously wanting to take this to like the court of law or whatnot, she'd probably just get like laughed out. That's my theory.
Everybody in the comments wants to say, well, you need to have the rules outlined for a collab. You need to have this, that, contracts, whatever. Where was the effort from the other end? The person with the marketing degree. How am I supposed to know that she was going to ditch on the collab? Booked the appointment, asked me to collab, asked me to buy her extensions, but got to the appointment 2 hours late. We did her hair, we slayed that shit. I wasn't expecting it to come in like that. I wasn't expecting 2 hours late. Left without paying because it was a collab, and then come Monday posted to her story because I had an attitude that I was disrespectful and unprofessional, and she will not be tagging me. So long story short, the person who coordinated the collab decided to pull the collab out from underneath me after I had already done all the work.
I reckon what ended up happening was that Slay was just asking her, like, hey, pushing her along, like, hey, are you going to post this? Hey, when can we expect this? And Farrah, I would have thought maybe just isn't used to having people, like, tell her, like, what to do or whatever, or, like, be hurried up. So went full on back crap at her. Farrah Abraham's position is that payment was in fact sent after she decided not to move forward with the marketing collaboration, and that any originally contemplated promotional activity was affected after your conduct became impatient, harassing, and slanderous. This letter therefore demands that you stop presenting contrary allegations as fact, stop discussing these matters with press or bloggers, and stop using Farrah Abraham or Sophie Abraham's names, likeness, or circumstances of publicity or leverage. Who is this actually, like, signed by? Because I don't think I've even... Sincerely, KN Productions Media Group. So, on behalf of Farrah Abraham. So, basically, this isn't even drafted up by a lawyer or an attorney or anyone in the legal field. This was written by probably, allegedly, her assistant. Yeah, this would definitely be next in line for Lou. But yeah, Farrah is just not happy, and she is claiming that Slay is saying all this and that. And you know what? I can fully see kind of what's happened. The fact that it said Slay was impatient tells me everything I need to know about this. Absolutely everything. Farrah just doesn't like being questioned. This wasn't even signed off by a solicitor. I ain't doing this. And to make it even more ridiculous, Farrah's now taken to social media. They're going, pay that stylist. And Farrah's saying, pay the celebrity. And someone said, is the celebrity in the video? Because I don't see one. Because the thing is, right, I would put her in a, like, D-list celebrity, like a has-been celebrity. That's just kind of what I'm thinking. But I'm trying to think of, like, a celebrity that I would compare her with. If you know of, like, UK, like, D-list celebrities and whatnot, and then you also know of Farrah, like, where would you put her in terms of UK lower tier celebrities? Claw of relevancy, in a way. Still thinking of herself as, like, this big celebrity when really, like... Is she still? I don't know, because I'm not... I honestly, it's an open question. I'm genuinely curious. Apparently, according to this girl who's up here, who has been working really, really closely with Slay, she's a commentator and she covers a lot of different stuff. She said that allegedly Farrah has been using AI to work out how many views Slay's gotten, and then work out how much money she would have gotten from the post. And then Farrah wants all of that money, which apparently is like 500k or something. Someone said, you forgot to tag Hair by Slay as one of the stylists who contributed to your 12-hour session. Give credit where it's due. And Farrah says, nah, she owes me $500,000. She can't pay. Yeah, and she's posted other things as well. Keeps on bringing up this point that Slay owes her $500,000. It's just so ridiculous. To me personally, it screams of someone who isn't doing as financially well as she claims to be. She could be in a lot of debt, hence the reason why she's not wanting to, like, cover costs of things. Farrah comes across as someone who has never quite been able to let go of their, like, notorious celebrity status. Now, granted, she might be more of a celebrity over in the States. I mean, Teen Mum. And over here, and I was not a fan of the show. So granted, she may be a bigger deal than what I'm letting on. I have noticed this influx of people who, like, rose to celebrity status, or, like, D-list celebrity status, who had now become influencers, OnlyFans models, but still think that they are as well known as they once were, who do reach out for all of these different collaborations, who have built a following, to then end up being like, not paying for things, being incredibly rude, being incredibly difficult to work with. This isn't the very first time that we've heard of stuff like this happening. Would it surprise me that she was difficult to work with and she didn't like the fact that Slay was asking her for, her end of the deal before she was ready to do it? Because she wanted it on her time and she wanted to be able to control the situation. Nah, that doesn't surprise me. And this isn't even touching on the fact that I feel like her child is heavily exploited. I mean, I mean, quite literally, she was on the show Teen Mum, which was following her journey, fair enough. But like her child has been like documented through a lot of her younger life. And then now I read somewhere that like Farrah wants her daughter to do an autobiography to then earn loads of money from it and to like sell her story and all of this. A 16-year-old does not need to do an autobiography. And Farrah is, for my opinion, just wanting to extend her name and to have it relevant. And yeah. Yeah, I'm much more likely swayed to believe in what Slay has been saying.
She didn't get approval for me talking on a video that she posted. So she's getting sued for that.
But yeah, that is pretty much all I had to say. Thank you so much for sitting through this with me. And like I've already said before, if you would love to try out the Cozy Florist for free, please click the link in the description box and click up here, QR code, click the pinned comment, check out my description. If you click the exclusive link, you will also receive a starter pack as well, just to get you going. Thank you so much to the Cozy Florist for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, it would not be the same without you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.